friends, far and wide, we are live. What is up, y'all? How's everybody doing? I'm Eric, your humble malt user, beaming the whiskey signal from a very smoke-filled skies of Chicago, Illinois, my home base. I have a really exciting live stream to get into tonight, so I'm glad to have you all here. We have a special uncorking. We have an unboxing of some samples, a whole bunch going on. But before we jump into all that, how are you all doing? It's great to see you. It's been a little while since the last live show. But I assure you, you have been sorely missed because your whiskey knowledge is always, always welcome here. So before we jump into everything else, let us see who is ponied up here at the old virtual bar with the dram in hand. Let's kick it off. First in the door tonight, Papa Q, what up? I'm sipping a 5-year-old Madeira. All right, there you go. Okay, that's pretty apropos for what we're about to get into. Very cool. I have a, this is a vintage Glenalchie 12-year-old. Pretty nice stuff. Good little palate starter. Coming on his heels, Mr. French, joining from Smoky Duluth with Laphroaig Càirdeas 2022. Okay, very, very cool. Yeah, smoke is an understatement, man. The Canadian wildfires have been really, well, blanketing the Midwest. Chicago right now apparently has the worst air quality in the world because of those fires today. So I hope everybody is staying safe wherever you are. And as well as our friends up in Canada. Pretty crazy stuff. Buffalo's in here with Keen Dreams. What's up? There's our man with the wrench, Daniel. The man with the wrench and the man with the samples from somewhere along the eastern Texas borderlands. What is up, Mr. DH? How are you, sir? And he's got a Warehouse 1 Càirdeas in the glass as well. Very cool. It is a good dram. Speaking of Canada, Mr. White is here. Joining us from Ontario. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Hey, Greg's Whiskey Guide, Paris, France. Other side of the pond. Good to see you. If you have yet to go and shoot a subscription on over to Greg's Whiskey Guide. He's a great man and knows his whiskey. Great to have you here, sir. Your Instagram has shown you've been tasting some good stuff at some tastings around Paris, I saw. Rob MC, what's up? How are you, sir? Pennsylvania's in the house. Good to see you. D-Pass, Central California. Awesome to see you, man. What's going on? Here's our boy Leo, beaming the signal from the Sun Valley, Arizona, USA. Awesome to see you, man. Good to have you here. 110 in Phoenix. My Lord. I was talking to Daniel recently, and they've been getting pummeled in Texas, too, with storms and high heat. Man, something for everybody these days, it looks like. Hope to get the Càirdeas in France. Oh, that's awesome, man. I hope you do get a chance. This is going to be interesting. Càirdeas, Canada's still... Yeah, it's been quite wild, man. It's been quite wild. All right. So it's good to see folks in. We got 11, 12 folks in already, which is awesome. Couple housekeeping notes. So latest review just dropped of the Magic Cask. And as folks know, but just to re-up, I closed down the Patreon just because I'm not doing things as frequently as I used to, but still appreciate your support in any way, shape, or form you wish to give it. So I appreciate that, and definitely looking forward to tonight's show. So without further ado, we are going to get into this right now. So it is one of my favorite times of the year. As a whiskey consumer, as a whiskey reviewer, and that is the release of the Laphroaig Càirdeas. Càirdeas, of course, means friendship, and each year Laphroaig since I think 2008, but really I think since 2013 is when I started seeing them. They have been putting out a annual release for the Festival over there on Islay. The one we have today is the brand new 2023 release and is going to be our feature of the show. So I'm really excited to be able to open this and share it with y'all. This is the Laphroaig Càirdeas 2023 White Port and Madeira cask, bottled at 52.3%. So that 2.3, of course, giving us the 23 for 2023. This is a non-age statement, as they all are. Let me just get some of this in the glass, and then I will give you all the rundown of what we are looking at here with this whiskey. And of course, after this, I have a box of samples to open from our good friend over in East Texas, Daniel. We'll see what Daniel has sent my way and probably taste one of those tonight as well. So I hope you all got something good in the glass. Laphroaig. Let me get some of this in the glass. Get this resting. Oh, very interesting color. Okay. So, as I mentioned, 52.3% ABV. Now, this is the first Càirdeas that has been built basically by our friend, what is his name? Barry McGaffer, who is the new master distiller over at Laphroaig after the retirement of John Campbell. So here's what it has to say. It says 3/4 of this liquid is finished in second fill Madeira casks. So I like that, second fill, for something like this. And then the final quarter coming from first fill port. So it just says, yeah, so basically it's a 3-to-1 finish, Madeira to port. Now, on the tube here, I noticed it says something a little different. It says the final quarter has been finished in first fill port. The majority of these are white port. So white port, as opposed to regular kind of tawny port, ruby port, is white wine grapes. I think in terms of port, it's, I mean, maybe only 10% of the total port you can buy. Younger ones tend to be a little bit on the drier side. I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty young white port. But that's what they have to say here. It does not say anything about chill filtration or color, because it's Laphroaig and they are really bad at that. So we don't really know. But that is the tail of the tape here. We got 52.3%, no age statement, unclear on the color being natural and unclear on chill filtration. But they do give us this information about Barry's first stab at a Càirdeas release and the 3-to-1 second fill Madeira to port, some of which being white port. So there we go. I'm going to let this sit just a second longer here in the glass. We'll get right into this in just a few minutes. Let me just catch up on the chat. We got 14 folks in. I want to make sure I say hi to all my good friends who we have not seen in a minute here. And Greg chimed in, yeah, I didn't win the Laphroaig 25. There was a lottery at one of the tastings you were at. Okay. Only €4. Wow, yeah, that's a good deal. Oh, man, Alpha Crown, what's up? Vancouver, how are you? And Mr. French, thank you so much. Happy Càirdeas Day indeed. Appreciate that super chat, my friend. Thank you so much for the support. Kenneth's in the house. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Northern Ireland is here. Man, Whiskey Straight Al. Another good tuber. If you've yet to, make sure you show some love his way with a subscription. He's got a great channel. Hope all is going well for you, Al, over there in Northern Ireland. Morsy's here. What's up? How are you? Craig Yelicki, 13 in the glass for Mr. White. Nice choice. Nice choice. There is a white port. Yeah, Glen Scotia. I saw that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I'm hoping to soon. Oh, man. D-Pass. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Goes a long way. All right. Thank you so much. Donner Pass Whiskey with the $5 super chat as well. All right. Well, now I'm feeling really good. Let's get this going. Okay. So, as I mentioned, it's Càirdeas Day. And then without further ado, we're just going to dive right on into this, y'all. So this is the color. Judge for yourself whether you think that's natural or not. I guess it's not. So white port, which is admittedly a whiskey or a finish I'm not super familiar with. And then, of course, Madeira, which harkens back to the 2016 Madeira cask Càirdeas, which is right there behind me, the one in the red. All right. Let me just get this palette ready, y'all. I forgot to mention. So this Càirdeas is going for about $100 USD, give or take, and is the second double finished one. So back in 2020, they did a port and red wine cask. Admittedly, one of my least favorites of the Càirdeas series so far. Let's see if this one gets any different. So again, Madeira is going to, we don't know the variety of Madeira in this, but it's going to give you kind of a nutty, richer, peachy fruit kind of notes in a very general sense. And then I'm assuming we're going to get a bit of a citrus kind of tart effervescent from the White Port. We're going to find out here. So let's go on the nose. Yeah. Okay. Right away, I can tell you this smells young. It's got a bit of that kind of fresh barley kind of, what is the word I want to use? A bit, it's like wet stone. It's reminding me off the nose of the Fino cask. It's got this very white wine, Riesling, almost Chardonnay kind of zip to it. Yes, there's peat. Yes, there's smoke. There's some kind of underlying fruit notes. It smells lighter. It smells more citrus driven, which is saying something for Laphroaig. Light vanilla. Definitely noticing the white grape kind of white wine influence here. Okay, so the nose, it's, I don't know how to put this right, but softer for a Laphroaig. The Laphroaig kind of medicinal peaty smokiness is there, but there's a nice kind of softer undertone of this. Oof. All right, let's take a look. Here we go, down the hatch. Càirdeas 2023 White Port and Madeira. I'm glad to get to taste this with all my good whiskey friends. Salanchava to wherever you are. Here we go. Oh, okay. Wow. This is interesting. On just one taste, if there is one that I would compare it to, it would be the 2018 Fino. Wow, that's a nice finish. Let me do another neat taste, and I'll give you my first thoughts here. If anybody has had this before, please let me know what you think in the chat. And also, by all means, let me know what your favorite Càirdeas is if you are a fan of the series. Okay, so let's start with the positives here. This is a very well married whiskey. I didn't think I was going to expect that. The last one, the port and red wine, I did not feel that way. This is a much more cohesive expression from Laphroaig. The Madeira, which I think was smart to do second fill, so you're not getting, since it's at 3/4 of the match or of the finish, you're not getting it overwhelmed with Madeira. It is really providing this kind of nutty caramel, like kind of yellow fruit undertone to a snappy white wine kind of presentation, I guess, with some of the peat and the medicinal iodine sea spray peat from Laphroaig kind of wrapping around it. It's dry a bit on the finish, but not as dry as I was expecting. And I think that's, again, because the Madeira is really nicely balanced in this. As far as notes go, it arrives, again, with vanilla, again, kind of a peach. I don't want to emphasize the peach too much. It's more of a richer yellow fruit note, not really apple, but like kind of in that realm. The white grape, definitely. It's got a bit of a little bit of a bitter sour, but it's pretty well balanced. There's a meaty quality to this. I got to do one more sip, y'all. The finish is still hanging on. Okay. So immediately you're going to know that you're going to taste this white wine influence. It's just there. And it's coming in the form of a bit of a kind of tart. Little bit of edge to it. It reminds me of like a little bit of like a Chardonnay. There was an M&H Chardonnay cask I had once. It's got similarities to that. The peat is there. It's got a pretty nice richness. It's a nice long development, surprisingly. Dark coffee, dark chocolate kind of in the transition, medium long finish, slightly drying, but I like this. What's interesting about it is it's got almost a refreshing characteristic to it. It's like the peat and the peat, the Laphroaig style of it, and this white port are really working together pretty well. The Madeira is really kind of giving it the body and the heft, and then of course, what I would only assume are bourbon casks kind of rolling through this as well. On balance, this is not the sweetest Laphroaig I've ever had. This is more on the oakier kind of oakier, spicier side. But the white port is the star of the show here for sure. This nose just continues to get more interesting. Wow. Really nice, rich whiskey. Okay. We are going to do some water on this. Where is this one falling so far? We'll get into kind of my rankings of the Càirdeas releases. Maybe we can talk some more about that. I can tell you just by the neat sips here, I think this is a really well done whiskey. The new master distiller over there, Barry McEffer, did quite a nice job with this. I mean, this finish is still going. It's rich. I'm getting a nice roasted coffee note, dark chocolate. You just have this kind of light effervescence of white grape kind of, just effervescent kind of note that's just kind of going through this. It's bringing a little bit of a lemon citric bite to it. Not pithy, but like fresh. Well, the Glenmorangie pitcher is filled with some water. So let's put a few drops on here and see what we do. Again, this is 52.3%. So a little lower, I think. Well, we'd have to go back and look, but this is right around what you expect from the Càirdeas releases. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the youth of this is showing up more with water. That I don't particularly like. Yeah, vanilla lemon meringue. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not super lemony, but it's got that nice kind of sweet. It's like a sweet and sour lemon thing going on. Yeah. Okay. God, the way that Madeira is working in the background here, I'm really finding enjoyable. I am usually not the biggest Madeira fan, but this is. I was not a big fan of the 2016 Laphroaig Càirdeas, but this is really showing up nice. Yeah. Look, the white wine flavor it's not overpowering, but it's there. And that's what the white port's bringing for sure. I'm assuming it's a younger white port, I guess, because it is drier and spicier. This is married well. If you like whiskeys that have more of the drier citric white wine, flavor profile, and you like Laphroaig, you're going to enjoy this. I think this is I think this is a nice whiskey. I really do. I'm going to ruminate a bit on it and sip this. Let me catch up on the chat while I do so, and then we'll get into some final initial thoughts here. And I got to start, man, Whiskey Straight Al. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that, man. Super cool of you. And again, folks, if you haven't, check out his channel. He's got a great one. I really appreciate the support, brother. Great to see you. All right. Hope everything's well with Al. Yeah, White Port, interesting indeed. Yeah, Young Islay reminds me of Fresh Concrete. Yeah, Scarabus. Yeah, good one, Leo. Yeah, it is. It is the concrete, and I'm telling you, it's showing up here. And look, the Carchus releases aren't that old. We know that, but they're more about the finishes and stuff. And by and large, I think they do a really good job. And we're going to talk about that as it compares to another Islay distillery that I think is more missed than hit on this same approach. K&L has a California independent Laphroaig. Really? Ow. Okay. I would get that. Keep me in the post. A 10 cask strength refill bourbon cask. 20 more than the distillery, but wow, I've never heard that. That's awesome. Hey, Marty, what's up? Whiskey Knows, what's going on? Do check out his channel too, y'all, if you haven't. Great to see you, man. Eric, of my favorite indie Laphroaigs is the Madeira cask elements of Islay. Yeah, Madeira, again, I guess I would describe it as kind of nutty. It's rich. It is very much a dessert wine, I guess I'd say. Orange, sugary, caramel, Oh, you're going to a Laphroaig event. That's so cool, man. Yeah, I'm sure this will be on display. And Laphroaig is also doing a live, what are they calling it? They're calling it, I can let folks know about it. I did sign up for Deconstructing the Carchus 2023, Friday, July 7th. That's at 1:15 Eastern time. They're going to be doing a tasting of this along with the Laphroaig 10 and the port and wine cask. And there's a YouTube link for it if folks want. I mean, I'm not promoting this because Laphroaig did not give me this whiskey. I paid my hard-earned money for it, but here is the link to the tasting that they're going to do if folks want to follow along with that. I think it'll be interesting. I'm curious to hear what they have to say. Yeah. Are you talking Donner? Okay. Hey, James Chang, our buddy in Los Angeles. What's up, man? Great to see you, sir. Always good to see you. You're young and we're trying in a reasonable price. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that for sure. And Daniel, thank you for posting the links to some of our good whiskey friends, including Whiskey Straight Al, Greg's Whiskey Guide channels are in the chat. I do encourage folks to take a sec and go subscribe to them. Okay. I like this whiskey. I think this is a very strong release. It is not going to be for everybody, I think, because of that kind of white wine sharpness that it has. Thankfully, it is not overpowering. I think they did the balancing of the finish here really well. The choice of second fill Madeira, so you're not getting quite as much overwhelming Madeira flavor, but the majority of it being done in Madeira, and then first fill port. I think that's the right move. The balance on this is really nice. $100 price point, I think, is still very fair for the Carchus releases. We're going to talk a little bit more about that after I give my final thoughts here. But look, it's a unique Laphroaig. I don't, what does that mean? Obviously, 2 years ago, they did one fully in PX. I mean unique in the sense that it's offering up a flavor profile that I think most single malt scotches, and definitely with Laphroaig, is not something you seldomly get. This is much, much different than, I'd say the difference between PX and Oloroso is a bit closer together than the difference between White Port and Port, right? but it works. It's working. It's working well. I think this is a nice whiskey. I think the $100 price point is more than fair. I'm going to give this a thumbs up, man. I mean, I think this is a 3, this is in that 3.5, 3.75 range for me. Not my favorite, but one of, I think, worth buying, especially if you see it at the right price. Definitely worth trying. But if you know that if this falls in your flavor palette and you like Laphroaig style of whiskey, I think you're really going to enjoy this. They did a good job, and yeah, I'm gonna sit actually at 3.5 on this for now. We may do another full review of this later, but at first impressions, this is above average. I think the marriage of these finished casks in this are working really well. I'm gonna pour another dram of this because you know what I am playing. We're gonna enjoy some Laphroaig on Malt Muser Càirdeas Day. Bravo, Laphroaig. And I am very, very excited to have bought a second bottle, as I always do, which has taken its place on the Càirdeas shelf. I've been fortunate enough, I have all the Càirdeases, doubles of all the Càirdeases going back to 2013. And so let's talk a little bit about where this one falls. Now, if you're a big Càirdeas nerd, you no doubt think about these in terms of, where do they stack up to the others? I'm going to put these into a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 kind of approach. Tier 1 being, I think, absolutely excellent. Tier 2 being well above average, and tier 3 being average or maybe uninspiring. The 2013 port, I think, is a tier 1 for me. The Amontillado 2014 is a tier 1. The 2015 200th anniversary is a tier 1. The 2016, I'd say, is a tier 3, which is the Madeira. The 2017, which is the quarter cask at cask strength, is a tier 1 for me. I think just one of the punchiest, strongest Laphroaigs you can get. The 18 Fino is a tier 2. The 19 triple wood cask strength is a tier 2. The 2020 port and red wine cask is a tier 3, maybe even lower if it could be. 2021 PX cask strength tier 1. 2022 warehouse 1 is a tier 2 for me. And I think that this one is falling in that tier 2 range. So I don't think it's like the best Càirdeas release for me of the ones I've been fortunate enough to taste, but I think this is a really, really nice release. Excited to drink some more of this, and I'm noticing even as we talk a bit more of a nutty quality coming out of this, so really enjoying it. What a nice nose too. It's really starting to change. That's the thing with doing these tastings in this format is, you open the bottle, it's a new bottle. It hasn't had time to settle down, whatever. But if you're spending $100, it should be great out of the glass, right? I'm getting the nice kind of almost biscotti vanilla, raw vanilla, honey almost noted here. I think this is 3.5, winner. Good stuff. Let me catch up on the chat here. We got 20 folks in. What is up, y'all? Say hello in the chat. If you are just joining, I do want to give shout outs again to Mr. French, Donner Pass Whiskey, and Whiskey Straight Out for those super chats. I really appreciate that, you guys. At Malt Muser, you watch your mouth when you're talking about the wonderful triple wood. Yeah, I know. People, I didn't love the triple wood cask strength nearly as much as I wanted to, and I was hoping it was going to be better. Yeah, 2015 is a fantastic one. It was just a barley. It was just a bourbon cask, but yeah, it was a really nice one. Google really doesn't want naughty words. Healthy. Yeah, but I'm going to go 3.5 here is just my opening with the Càirdeas 2023 White Port and Madeira. I think this is really good. I think this is probably going to, like I said, I was flirting with 3.75, and I think as I drink it, I mean, this is basically the range you're looking at here. I think this is an above average whiskey. It's really hitting the spots for me. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. And Laphroaig, let's talk about the price thing. As I mentioned, there is another topic about Càirdeas I want to get into, and that is the price and the quality. So one of the things about Laphroaig that, the praises of them that I want to sing, which in comparison to some of the negatives, which you hear on my channel quite often, if you've been around for a while, the fact that they don't disclose their chill filtration or natural color processes in so many cases, the fact that some of their stuff is bottled at a lower ABV than it should be. I'm thinking Laphroaig 10 compared to some of its peers, including the Ardbeg 10 and the Port Charlotte 10. They sometimes, I think they're a little heavy-handed with the finishes. I want to sing the praises of the fact that the Càirdeas releases have maintained a consistent quality level, in my opinion, that have kept them also at a price point that I think is respectable in a market that special release whiskeys, these limited releases, and I'm going to get into the place I'm thinking of in contrast in just a second, have continually seen the prices go up. Laphroaig, I think, has kept these in. These have stayed in a relatively affordable range, all things considered. I think the most expensive release I saw was the 2020 Port and Red Wine cask, which I saw creeping into the 110, 120 range. Coincidentally, it wasn't my favorite, as you just heard. But look, I mean, this is coming in at a solid $100. I wouldn't be surprised if you can find this for $90 somewhere. I really would. And the Càirdeas release, I have grown to expect consistent quality from, and I can't say that about the Ardbeg annual Fessio releases. Definitely can't say that about the Kalila Fessio releases, but those are not very well available. So I think, let's compare this to Ardbeg. So every year Ardbeg puts out a Ardbeg day. Every whiskey distillery gets a day at the Islay Whiskey Festival. This year Ardbeg's release is the, what is it called? Heavy Vapors. Last year was the Ardcore. I mean, I did not even mess with the Heavy Vapors, but just the regular releases of those, not the limited, the more limited committee releases. The regular ones that they put out at 46% are like 130, 140. I did have the Ardcore regular release last year. I was not impressed. I really wasn't impressed with the Scorch regular release. Wasn't impressed with the Black regular release. There's much more inconsistency I found there. And really what they're doing is something similar to what Laphroaig is, which is they are releasing a young spirit that they're putting in some fancy finishes and putting it out to market as their festival release. But Laphroaig is putting these out not only at a better price, which I think in that, I think when I started buying Càirdeas releases, they were like 80, 85. And now, you're seeing them 9,500. That's over the course of 10 years. The Ardbegs, I bought an Ardbeg Grooves committee release in 2018 for 130. Now you can get the limited release. Sorry about that, y'all. Had a little bit of a freeze there. We all good now? Let me just double check. I'm assuming we're probably fine now, but just going to wait for the thumbs up from somebody before we continue. Okay, we're good. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so what I was saying is like, I think Laphroaig has really maintained an accessible and, for lack of a better word, affordable access to a special release as compared to our friends at Ardbeg, which is a real bummer because I think Ardbeg's prices not only have priced me out in terms of their special releases, but also have have been so varied in quality that I'm gun shy. I am not gun shy about Kirches. I don't expect this to be the best Laphroaig I ever have, but I am not gun shy about buying them, and I think that's the difference. So I'm happy. I'm happy to see what has been released here. I think this is a really nice release, and I'll be curious in the weeks and months ahead for folks who get their hands on it to hear your thoughts on it. So that's that with the Kirches, but we're not done. I have a box, a big box of samples sent to me by a good friend of the show over there in East Texas, Daniel H. So we're going to open this up. We're going to see what Daniel has sent here. And we'll likely be trying one of these tonight. Now, I have opened the box already to get some beers out that he sent, which were quite nice. Thank you, Daniel. But I did not look at the whiskeys, and they are well packaged in here. So let's shift gears and see what we got here as some samples. We'll probably get into one of these and continue to talk Laphroaig. Okay. All right. The first one we have is a SMWS. Okay, so that's single malt whiskeys of Scotland. Is that what Single Malt Whiskey Society? That's the subscription thing you can get where they do all independent bottling or independent maturations, bottlings. He can let you know what SMWS is. We have an Ardmore 14-year-old. I have never had an Ardmore before, so I'm really excited to try that. Here we go. Very cool. Let's see what else we got in here, Daniel. Oh, here's another one. Another SMWS Annock 11. Well, you guys know how much I love Annock. I'm into that. 58.6. Oh, boy, this is going to be a belter. Woohoo! Cheers, man. All right, I don't want to throw this packaging around because the whiskey cat will be all over it wherever he's hiding, lurking about somewhere here in the malt den. But we're gonna have to do it because there's too much in here. Bomb-proof packaging, brother. Appreciate that. All right, here we got a couple others. I'm just gonna have to cut this one open. All right, what's next? Oh boy. Duncan Taylor Dimensions, Altmore 11, 53% Oloroso. Okay, that's going to be an interesting one. Very cool. And let's see, what do we got next here, y'all? Another SMWS, nice Glen Turret, peated 8-year-old, 62.8. Good Lord. Wow, SMWS was all over the peated releases already. From Glen Turret. That's awesome. All right. There's still more, man. Daniel H., very generous. I really appreciate these samples, man. This is super cool. And I'm sure we will get into one of these, if not two, here on the stream this afternoon. This one has no label. Oh, boy. I'm assuming there's a story behind that. We'll have to get into that. Here we have, oh, wow. Here's an SMWS Laphroaig 10 years, 60.8%. Oh, man. That's going to be good. Maybe that's the one we should get into tonight, considering we're sitting here sipping Laphroaigs. All right. What do we got next? Man, you really know how to package whiskey. I appreciate this. Maybe too much. All right. Next, we got Glendronach Cask Strength Batch 11, 59.8%. Oh, wow. I have never had a Glendronach Cask Strength as far as I can remember. Super cool. That's one of the more newer ones, I think. Thank you, sir. Oh, there's more. We got a couple more in here, y'all. Bear with me. Thank you very much for this, Daniel. All right. I'm getting a real crash course in single malts of Scotland releases. This is cool. Here's another Ardmore. Or no, this is, yeah, Ardmore 12. Madeira from Signatory. Very cool. Okay. And Ardmore is peated from what I remember. And SMWS Altmore 10. Man, Ardmore Altmores. They knew it. The only Altmore that I've really had was their 12, and I think maybe their 18 ones. Okay, I think that covers it. Let me just double check and make sure. Yeah, I think we're all set here. All right. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for these samples, brother. I do appreciate it. Let me just clean this up so the Whiskey Cat doesn't get any ideas if and when he decides to make an appearance here tonight. Going to be all over this stuff. Very cool. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. Yeah, definitely the CS. That's what I hear. A member of the cult of Anak here. He says, do the Glen Turret. Very nice. Yeah, man. Me too. I really appreciate this, Daniel. Thank you so much for the generosity. Thank you, sir. Definitely. Indeed. I'm pouring the Laphroaig PX, the good one, Kirch's version, not the over. Okay. Yeah. I'm hearing some praise for the Anak. Maybe I should try this Anak. I have the Altmore 18 OB. I know what that is, and I'm just blanking right now. Try the Laphroaig Indy, says Papa Q. Yeah, I think it would be apropos to do the Laphroaig 10 alongside this this Càirdeas. What do you guys think? Should we do it? I'm interested in this mystery bottle, though. We have an unlabeled bottle. Now, maybe the label came off and I got to hunt for it, but I don't know if Daniel's got a story behind this. He is a crafty type, so. Thank you, sir. The non-label is the Springbank Local Barley 11. Oh boy. Okay. I can't do that one now. That one, my palate's going to be too torched for that. Thank you for letting me know that though, sir. All right, let's do it. Let's do the Laphroaig, and then maybe we'll check out the Anak. Again, Daniel H., thank you so much. I really appreciate these. So I have never had an SMWS Laphroaig before. Now, again, they do their own bottlings. They pick their own barrels, all that stuff. I do have a variety of independent bottled Laphroaigs that I've been lucky enough to collect over the years, but never one at 60.8% and never from Scott Malt Whiskey Society. So let's get this in the glass, and I just happen to have a freshy glass right here. I'm assuming that this is a completely natural color, non-chill filtered, because why would you pay for a premium subscription service if they're going to give you subpar whiskey? All right. So we're on a roll with Laphroaig tonight. Maybe this will be a good question for the folks. If you're hanging out, if you're a peated fan, which I'm assuming you probably are if you're hanging out on this stream tonight, what are your top 3 Islay Scotch distilleries? Now, I don't mean this in the sense of like, yes, you can include Bunahop, even though they don't do regular peated stuff. But Islay's generally the peated stuff. I'd really love to hear, what folks' favorites are. They don't have to be in any particular order. But what are your favorite? The top 3, the ones that you find consistently to be your favorite of the Islay distilleries. One of mine, of course, is Laphroaig. I'll reveal the other 2 as we go along here. But yeah. Okay. So I got this 10 in the glass. SMWS. Second fill bourbon. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a belter. Alpha Crown first in. Bruichladdich, Kilchoman, Laphroaig choices. A lot of creamy vanilla on this. No surprise, I suppose. Papa Q, what you got? All right, Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Kilchoman. A lot of love for Kilchoman so far. All right, Whiskey Straight Al. SMWS is fantastic. I was dubious at first to experience him. Never been disappointed. That's so cool to hear. Great to hear. I know Daniel has been part of this for a while. We've chatted about it, and he's definitely in like the whiskeys. Whoa, Greg coming out of left field. Port Ellen, Lagavulin, Kalila, but Bowmore comes close. Then depends on the version. Wow. Okay, I dig that. Kilchoman. Is it Port Ellen? I mean, we'll give you that. Lagavulin, Kalila, and Bowmore. Very interesting picks, Greg. I like it. Variety. The only ones I think that have not been represented thus far is Bunnahabhain, and I think just Bunnahabhain, right? Anybody got Bunnahabhain in their top 3 Islas? I think that's the only one not getting any love right now. Well, I can tell you that my second one on the list is Bunnahabhain. So there'll be some love from me. So I got Laphroaig and Buna. And then I'll name my third one in just a second. Here is Daniel Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Bruichladdich. Like it. Best value in France is Kilchoman. Love to hear that. Okay. Your sample sharing is what turned me on to Laphroaig fanboy, but Kilchoman, Bruichladdich, Bunnahabhain. There's some Bunnahabhain. Okay. Buna Indies, yes. Officials not so often. Okay. I like it. I bet it's not including 80s more. All right, I'll tell you what my third one is after we do this. SMWS Laphroaig 10. Can you believe this, y'all? Thank you, Dan. This is so cool. It smells fantastic. It is briny sea spray in a way that I do not normally get on Laphroaig. This is more Laphroaig 10 than Laphroaig 10 cast strength OBs on the release, on the nose. Vanilla, yellow fruit, apple, iodine, all the good stuff. It has an incredibly sophisticated softness to it, which is surprising. Let's give it a taste. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Wow. That's neat, and it's just to the edge of my ability to tolerate it at that high ABV without water. It is fantastic. Rich, creamy. The transition from finish or development to finish is seamless. I can't believe that I could. It's 60%. I mean, it's still just like right there. It is full intensity. It is not nearly as drying on the palate as I notice a lot of Laphroaig 10 cast strengths are. Now, this one doesn't have the sherry going on in it, but I'm getting orange marmalade, vanilla, just lighter fruits. There's everything is married so harmoniously here that there's not really any major dominant notes. It's a lighter bourbon cask. I think you said it was second fill, which makes a ton of sense. I really like what they've done here by not going first fill. You're getting a nice balance of the sweet kind of spiritiness and then also the cask influence. There's just so much lighter fruit in here. I would have guessed, if you would have told me the age, I would have guessed this was much older, probably like more like a 15. This is more like a Laphroaig 15 age profile to me. What are your guys' favorite Laphroaigs? Yeah, this is a really, really nice one, man. Yeah, Daniel H has had his experiences with SMWS. I think, if you want to share in the chat and let folks know what you think. I don't I've never been a part of it or a subscriber. I have been to a couple whiskey bars that have some of their stuff, but I rarely do I get to taste any of it. Yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, they all have funky names, right? Yeah. You know, this one in a lot of ways is similar in profile to this Càirdeas. I'm going to go back to the Càirdeas here just for a second. Yeah. Okay. Right away. Even the age difference between a 10 and the NAS, you can tell the Càirdeas is younger. Oh, geez. Daniel, if you recall, do you know what the price on this 10 cast strength SMWS Laphroaig was? That's stunningly good and different than any of the 10 cast strengths I've had before. That's really, really nice. Heavy hitter for sure. Speaking of heavy hitters, so my third favorite distillery on Islay. So I mentioned the Laphroaig, which would probably be, third. Laphroaig, Bunnahabhain. And then the third one, it's tough. But I think my answer on this is Bruichladdich. And strictly because I think Bruichladdach's range just offers so much to me. And I've very rarely have I ever had a Bruichladdich that I was disappointed in. And I think that alone puts it over the top. I also love the fact that they present their stuff with a lot of disclosure. I love their style, that farmhouse kind of honey sweet barley thing that they have and that you can pick up in all their stuff. I think Bruichladdich is the other one on my list. Now, I do love me some Lagavulin and I do love me some Ardbeg, but those just don't quite get there in terms of Lagavulin. I think it's more about the accessibility, right? I mean, there's just not that many Lagavulins you can buy unless you're hunting for rarer or limited release bottles overseas. I mean, in the U.S., what Lagavulins can you get? 16, 8, and Offerman edition. Maybe you find a 12 cast strength. I mean, you just don't find that much Lagavulin, whereas Bruichladdich, you can find all sorts of stuff here. So accessibility plays a factor in that. And Ardbeg, again, their core range is probably my favorite core range. They're just inconsistent with everything else. and oftentimes I feel like I'm not necessarily getting my money's worth. As you guys know, I'm not a huge Kilchoman fan. I don't, I'm all over the board with them. I don't often buy Kilchomans. And Kalila, their core range to me is just non-starter at this point. I don't find any of it really. Well, the 12 I find overpriced and for the market here. I do have their 25 and their 18. We'll get into those someday, but Kalila, it's all independent bottlings for me in terms of drinkers, in my opinion. So, and Bowmore, I have no frame of reference to talk about Bowmore, so I don't. I think I had an independent bottling Bowmore that was good. I've had 2 regular bottlings that were not good, really that good at all. I have a 18 Vintners special release series, Manzanilla, which we'll do one of these days, but yeah. Problem is that it depends on the expressions, Eric. Not super impressed with Bruichladdach's current releases. Well, I'm way more impressed with the Port Charlotte expression. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the Port Charlottes and the Octomores, I think, are always usually hitters. Bourbon Neophytes in the house. What's up? How you doing? Great to see you at Malmuser. This is probably around 130. Yeah, great price for this. Great price. Yeah, magnificent whiskey people indeed, sir. I'm probably biased because I had the opportunity to try 2 Lagavulin 25-year-olds. Jeez. Oh, man. Well, I'm jealous of that. A Lagavulin 25 would be quite special. I don't have any really old Lagavulins. I think the oldest I have is, I think 16. Thessiel. And those Jazz Fests are young, yeah. It's good to see Anthony Neophyte. Go check out his work if you haven't yet. It's good stuff. He knows his stuff. Bowmore, yeah. All right, y'all. Whiskey Straight Al. Bowmore scares the hell out of me. One of the few whiskeys that gave me nightmares, to be fair. It was the 15 darkest. I love it, man. I love it. Al's the best, dude. Good stuff. That was a great comment, brother. All right. So back to the 10 Laphroaig SMWS versus the Càirdeas. Funky or markedly similar on the noses, but the Càirdeas is a bit more refined. It's a bit more, obviously, because of all the finishes. I'm going to tell you all right now, though, this 10 cask strength 60%er, this is going to be something I got to sip for a while tonight. If I go in all in on this now, I'm not going to be able to do this for too long. I'm impressed, though. Anyways, we got 17 folks in, which is super cool, man. Thank you all. If you haven't, would totally appreciate it if you hit the sub. If you haven't done that, hit that thumbs up on the video. Would appreciate that. If you hate it, hit the thumbs down. I don't care. That's fine. We got 18 folks in. Sweet. We're hitting that hour mark. So again, we did uncork and try out the new Càirdeas 2023 White Port Madeira. 3.5 out of 5 for me. Good whiskey, y'all. Good whiskey. Can't wait to hear what other folks have to say about it as you get into your chances to taste this. I'm a big Càirdeas fan. I've been kind of buying them every year. I usually buy 2, and I'm not disappointed by this. So this is really cool. As we finish up this Càirdeas tasting, and then we have these samples that were provided by our good friend Daniel H. over there on the borderlands of East Texas and Louisiana. I'm going to slowly sip this 10 cask strength, that's for sure. But I think I'll pour one other thing to kind of bring us home here on the stream. What that's going to be yet is TBD. We're in the peated world, so I think I'm going to probably stick with that. But I'm also thinking maybe a sherry bomb. So here are the options. And I'd love to hear what folks in the chat would prefer. So we did see some love for this Annock 11. Now, this isn't peated. And it's not sherry, but maybe my palate could handle it. So this is what the vote's going to be. So we have Glendronach cask strength batch 11, SMWS Glen Turret peated, or the Annock 11 SMWS. So just one more time, you let me know in the chat. Glendronach cask strength batch 11, SMWS Glen Turret peated, or Annock 11 SMWS. And I'll decide if there's a tiebreaker, but if folks got opinions, drop them in the chat, and then we'll check one of these out here. I'm going to take a brief 2 seconds just to go get myself some more water, and when I get back, I'll see what folks have to say. So 1 sec, y'all. All right, I am back. Awesome, man. Great to see some folks shared their thoughts. We got Glen Turret peated, Dronic from Kenneth and Leo. Peated for sure, says our good friend Donner Pass. Again, I want to give shout outs to Whiskey Straight Al, Donner Pass, and Mr. French for those super chats tonight. That was super cool of you guys. I appreciate it. It goes a long way, especially now that I've got rid of the Patreon. So thank you so much for those. So it looks like the Glen Turret peated is winning 3-2. Does anybody have any want to make a final case for any of the others? Otherwise, I think that's the way we're going to go. I did recently try the Glen Turret 12 standard release, which I did do. I think it was on the last live stream or 2 live streams ago. So if folks are interested in that, check it out. I think you've we'll see. We will see. All right, maybe we'll end up doing both. I don't know. Okay. Hearing no more strong opinions, we're going Glen Turret. So Glen Turret, this is another SMWS. Again, thank you, Daniel, for these. This is an 8-year-old peated. Jesus, 62%, bro. Killing me with this. Daniel H over there on somewhere in the outskirts of Shreveport, Louisiana, on the Texas side, man. This guy just comes with the cast strength, man. And the Scotch tape. Apropos. All right. We're going to try this Glen Turret. Maybe we'll try the Glendronach afterwards. I have not had any Glen Turrets other than the 12, and I really liked it. Okay. There it is. Oh, shit. Also, just want to mention, we have not seen Winston the Whiskey Cat. He is sleeping and apparently not interested in what we have going on. That's no surprise. He's really bougie. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. SMWS. Let's see if I can get some deets on this. SMWS Glen Turret 8. Has anybody else been getting into the Glen Turrets? Do you got any strong opinions one way or the other on these? I have to admit, the Glen Turret 12 I thought was really, really nice. And they're quickly becoming a distillery I feel like could be making it into my regular rotation. Philly's in the house. What up, Ethan? What's up, man? What's going on with that, John, brother? Good to see you. My old stomping grounds for a while in Philadelphia showing up in the house. Good to have Ethan here, man. Everybody welcome him. What's good? What's good? Peated Indie Glen Turrets often come as Roodmoor, but I'm sure you know that, Eric. I don't. Now I do. Indie Glen Turret 17 CS for sherry punching. I'm still kicking myself for not buying at least 2 of. Okay. Never had the Glen Turret. Okay. So, Papa, I don't know where you're located, but Glen Turret has just put out like a whole new core range, I guess. There's a 10, there's a 12, there's some older ones, there's a peated NAS. They're one of the older distilleries, and they were mostly, I think, used for blends, and they've been putting out stuff. It's sherry forward, really good stuff. 46% non-chill filtered. Keep an eye out. I mean, if you look at like Whiskey World, who will ship to the States if you're in the States, definitely worth checking out. Canada's never had Glen Turret either. Yeah, definitely one worth checking out, y'all. They're solid from what I've had. Oh, Fine Wine Good Spirits got lore now? Shit, and they're selling it at MSRP, right? Because, you know, those government stores in Philly. Do you go across the river over there to Jersey to do any whiskey hunting? I used to do that all the time. If you're ever looking for any recommendations on stores just across over there in Cherry Hill and stuff, man, I can let you know. You let me know if you're looking. Morrissey, Signatory Highland Park cast strength. Into it. Oh, dude, they're punching on into punching. Old Glen Turret 10 was really nice, unpeated. Okay. Yeah, Ethan, let me know. I had a couple places when I lived in Philly that I would go hunting. There's a couple really good whiskey shops just over the river if you can't. The thing about the government stores in Philly is like good prices, not always the best selection because they sell at MSRP. I would find some really nice whiskeys there, and especially if you go to the ones that have the what were they called? There's that one on Broad, and it's in South Philly, and they have like basically it's like they're like the premium collection stores or whatever the hell they're called. They had a few really nice ones. Yeah, Benash, man, dude. Yes, totally. I have multiple picks from Benash still in my house. Roger Wilco, yeah, Wegmans for sure. Wilco, there's two of them. Oh fuck, what is the name of that bridge? There's two Wilcos that are really like right next to each other. One of them is like huge and has bro. Yeah, you know what's up. You know your stuff. If in Philly, go through Delaware and into Elton, Maryland. There you go. Okay. Yeah, Stateland MD for sure. Yeah, Benash, the guy that the main dude working there their rum collection is fantastic. He turned me on to rum actually. He knows his stuff. I mean, the picks that they would do, the rum picks. I have a couple that I have that were just based on his recommendation. But they got a nice Scotch collection there too. That's a really good store. Man, I miss Benash. So cool you go there, man. Definitely love supporting the local shops. All right, so here we go. Peated Glen Turret SMWS. 8-year-old, and I can tell you right away this smells older than that Carchis that we just had. And this has an age statement. Wow. Malty. Almost has like a beer yeast malt quality to it. The peat's subdued. Definitely like has a sherry quality to it. I'm assuming this is sherry. A lot of vanilla. This is nice. Again, this is SMWS, Daniel. Glen Turret called it study of sepia. And let's see, SMWS always got these funky names. Ethan, man, love that. I'm still sticking on that Benash thing for a while, man. It's been a while since I thought about Benash. I'm glad to hear they're still on the up and up, especially after the pandemic. I have a 13-year-old Canadian rye from them. That's one of the best ryes. I think it ended up third in my rye blind tasting. It was so good. I have a couple other picks. Anyways, if you are a bourbon head, I'm assuming you're part of South Jersey Bourbon Drinkers. They have a good discount program for Benash. Another store I got to tell you about. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta harp on this for a second. It's not Roger Wilco, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of the better price-wise liquor stores that I found there, and I can't remember the damn name of it. It is... Oh, shit. You know what? I'm going to keep talking, and while I do that, I'm going to remember the name of it because I can look it up. I think this was my second favorite place outside Benash, and it's because their prices were really, really good, and they would seemingly get random stuff. I found Springbank local barleys in here for like $100, and I don't understand why they would post them that way, but it's a legit store. It's in Mount Ephraim. Yeah, it's in Mount Ephraim, and it is Joe Canal's Discount Liquor in Mount Ephraim. If you ever get a chance, go there. Just check it out. Their prices are good. They get random stuff in, and they put it really cheap. Discount, yeah. Canal's Mount Ephraim. That's the one. That's the one to go check it out. Not that far from Benash. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Enough about Philly liquor stores. Dude, check it out for sure. Okay, last thing. If you're not part of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, you should be. Alex Cheng runs it. It's the best whiskey society I've ever been part of in any of the places I've lived. check it out. Alex Chang, he's from Taiwan. He often goes back and forth from there, gets tons of Cavalans. They've had epic tastings. They bring in a lot of people from different whiskey distilleries. It's one of the most robust whiskey societies you can be part of. You meet a lot of cool people. Check out the Philadelphia Whiskey Society if you're not in it, Ethan. Definitely recommend it. It's awesome. I miss it a lot. I think the membership card's only like $20 a month, but you get discounts at Canals, Benash, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So check it out. Believe it. Okay. Anyway, back to the Glen Turret. Enough about Philly. Yo, what is that? Daniel said this is special, and I totally know why now. You get this burst of like caramel nougat confectionery that just came out of nowhere. This is awesome. This is better than the Laphroaig 10. Oh, shit. What was the cost on this one, Daniel? Just out of curiosity. The Glen Turret 8 peated SMWS. This is fantastic. Dry fruits, which belies the age of this whiskey. But you get this like nougat confectionery note like 2 or 3 seconds after you initially hits the palate that just overwhelms and brings a richness and intensity to this. This is decadent, man. The peat is almost, the peat is almost, it's almost secondary. It's almost complementary to this whiskey. 110. I would buy this in a second. This is 8 years old. I'll tell you right now, this is stunningly good. It's rich and relaxed. Like this is drinking like a whiskey double its age. There's a confectionery, just like almond, dried fruit, like fruit cake, but we're not going too far into Christmas spice territory here, but just hints of that, like slight anise, kind of effervescent anise note. Oh my God. That's so rich on the palate and so smoothed over and 110, I would buy 3 of these. This is fantastic. This is SMWS, you said? It's only at the very back end of the finish, after a medium long finish, that you start noticing a little bit of the youth of this. The cask in this is not overwhelming. It's so subtle, but it's perfect. It's in that perfect sweet spot. Yeah, Alpha Crown, right, man? This is the star of the show right now. This is fantastic whiskey. At 8 years old, I'm stunned at the. So normally, this isn't going to be news to me. Normally, when you buy an NAS whiskey, you're expecting it to be maybe 8 years old, if not younger, and it's very cask driven, which I think kind of masks it. And I'm not hating on NAS whiskey. I'm fine with it. But what I'm saying here is this one, the cask influence is there, but it is not so overpowering that you're immediately like, oh, this is all just a cask whiskey, and underneath it is a bunch of young spirit. The harmony that this one is presented at dwarfs the Laphroaig that I just had. Just to be completely honest, I'm going to put some water on it. We'll see if it falls apart. I know this is 62%, and so maybe I'm just getting overwhelmed with the heavy flavor here. But I also am really enjoying how the peat factor of this is taking kind of a backseat. It's more of a compliment than it is the star of the show, which I really appreciate, especially for a young, raw spirit like this. I'm curious if anybody has had the peated Glen Turret, distillery bottlings, if they notice something similar. because that's what's really standing out to me about this more than anything. So here we are with a little bit of water. Oh, look, speaking of Ethan, Philadelphia Whiskey Society glass here. I got a couple of these. Oh, man. Apricot. Confectionery apricot. Peach. Maybe even hints of raisin. The peat is like just giving it a little bit of heft, but that's it. You know, right away. Right away. That is so rich. It's so relaxed. It's so decadent for an 8. This is an 8-year-old whiskey. Dark chocolate. Coffee. Wow. This is just wow right here. I'm not even going to be able to do the Glendronach, y'all. This is just wow. Look, I have not had the NAS Glen Turret peated release, but if it's anywhere close to this, I'm gonna buy one now. That's for sure. Dude says I got 5 others. I continue. Fudge, cinnamon, slight lime, smoked meats. Chocolate definitely. Fudge definitely. Cinnamon I'm not noticing as much. Or the lime. It does have a savory quality of smoked meat. Yeah, this is... No. This is a 4, though. This is a 4... what did you say, $110? If this was something you could get on the regular, Papa Q put me on the spot with this. All right, if I'm being totally real, $425. I'll be honest. This for 8 years old at $110. If I saw this on the shelf at $110 for 8 years old at 62.8%, I probably wouldn't buy it. And that would be a major mistake. Yeah, wow. This is stunningly good. Oh, man, you should, dude. Yeah. Let Alex Chang know I sent you. He might not remember me. It's been a while, but, dude, I am telling you, you will be, you will have access to some of the best you can imagine from a whiskey society. The tastings alone, they do them over in Fishtown. He gets special bottles all the time. And he's got a spot in Chinatown. You can swing over and get him. And he's got access to Jack Rose in DC where they do tastings. I just got an email from him, to be honest with you, not all that recently. Where they were doing a tasting with the guy from Ardbeg and with not Gordon Motion, Dr. Bill. Definitely check it out, Philly Whiskey Society. He wants to do it. He's calling for the Glendronach. All right. I'm going to be that guy. If I get any more, if anybody else if anybody's willing to toss me super chat to help me keep this going, I'll do it. I've got a few in, but without the Patreon, you know. If anybody's game, I'll check it out. But otherwise, I'm just going to roll with this, man. This is... God, this is so good. By the way, I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm going to do the Glendronach. I do have the... Okay, let's do it. I'm, of course, kidding. You know I don't give a shit about that. I'm going to instead just pour this and let's roll. Okay, Glendronach. Jesus Christ, 59.8. Okay, this is the swan song. I'll do half. After this, I'm going to be, in primo condition. Okay, Glendronach cast strength NAS, I assume. Oh, well, you have to actually do it, Daniel. I was trying to be facetious. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. All right, we'll see you. It smells like dry Oloroso sherry notes. Christmas in a glass. Pungent. It doesn't quite have the Glendronach-y quality that I noticed, which is usually like a darker fruit note. This just has more of a dry fruit note. Let's check it out. Oh. Really? Really? Okay, I get it. I have avoided these mostly because years back I had the luxury of getting the opportunity to buy a series of Glendronachs before things kind of changed at their distillery. And so I've always been kind of eschewing the idea of picking up these NAS cast strength because honestly, I've had the Glengoyne cast strength, which I thought was okay, but it was hit or miss. I didn't really care for the Glenfarclas. Aberlour's hit or miss. I just Sherry Bomb, NAS Sherry Bomb, NAS Sherry Bomb. Right? What's the real difference at the end of the day? Well, I can tell you right now, this Glendronach is pretty impressive. It retains some of the richness, and it's not so banging you over the head with just fresh sherry that it actually has some character to it, which I'm really enjoying. Oh, man. Al's coming back, dude. I appreciate you, brother. Y'all, if you haven't, go and shoot a subscription to Whiskey Straight Al. If the fact that he sends you two super chats isn't enough for you, take my word for it, man. This guy's got great content. He's our good friend in Northern Ireland, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Anyways, yeah, so it just seemed like it would get lost in the mix of NAS sherry bombs. And I can say this really does have character. There's a sweetness, yes, but there's also much more dry sherry notes, which implies a bit of age that I actually find is really making this. I don't get those notes off Aberlour Abana as much as I have enjoyed some Abanas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I get it. And what does a bottle of this run these days? I'm not even sure. But it's good. I'm getting a really nice finish on this before I wash it down with water. It's still there, though. It's like a slight kind of strawberry raspberry thing. That's really, really, really nice. Dude said double time. If any of y'all have been playing Aliens Dark Descent on PlayStation 5, you know all about what double time means. Well, we're at the point where I'm going to let you guys know about some other stuff coming up here on the channel. I have 2 reviews that'll drop in the next couple of weeks. One is another one of the Spirited Sample Series. So a non-whiskey, which is going to be a rum. Plantation single cask. It's an 11-year-old rum, which is finished for 6 months in Kilchoman peated casks. So that will be dropping. And then, of course, I have a single malt whiskey review coming up as well, which I will be dropping probably in the next week or so. Highland Park Dark Origins, a favorite of many of y'all's. So I got some other content coming up. I will have another live stream, of course, coming sometime in the next probably 3 weeks or so. I've been doing the best I can to give everybody a heads up on when those are coming by posting these things earlier on the channel. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me as I've been a little bit erratic with my postings when it comes to wanting to do live. It's usually a spontaneous, organic feeling. But I've been trying to get more scheduled with it just to make sure y'all have the opportunity to come hang out with some great whiskey folks. And after samples of this really great Glendronach cask strength in this Glen Turret, I think I'm going to wrap here. I want to send again appreciations to Whiskey Straight Al, Donner Pass Whiskey, Daniel H., Mr. French for the super chats tonight, man. Super cool. I really appreciated it. Good, as I mentioned, it goes a long way to keeping this going and making sure I can access whiskeys to share with y'all. And I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's program as well, man. The best part about this is whiskey, the whiskey community, right? So y'all have been really good at keeping it real, and sharing good stuff and sharing your thoughts and making this a robust place. And I really appreciate that. Until next time, I'm going to sign off. Again, keep your eyes out. Carchis 3.5 out of 5. I think this White Port Madeira cask is a really solid entry into their lineup. And with that, I'm going to finish off these ridiculously high cask strength whiskey samples provided by Daniel H., which again I appreciate. And until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you guys soon. Sláinte mhath, y'all. Cheers.